On this video talking about RV neighbors from hell, and I thought maybe this is a topic. Well, not maybe. This is a topic we need to address. If you have an RV and you travel with it, or it's stationary, or even if you live in a park model, a camper, this is for you. There's some of you out there that, well, there's a lot of you out there that have everything peachy keen. You're in your campgrounds. You probably stay there for a long time. You got neighbors right next door to you that stay there for a while during the year, and then they go back to usually Florida. They like to migrate north during the summertime, during the warm months, and they go back during the fall and winter time. And it's not just from Florida; they're from different areas of the country, but a lot are from Florida. If you're on the East Coast, especially in Georgia. Anyway, um, so you got these neighbors, and a lot of you out there might everything might be okay. Big thumbs up. Your neighbors around you, they actually talk to you. They check on you every now and then. If they see that something ain't right, like they know if they see that your car's broke down, and or something like that, you're having a problem. Maybe there's a water leak, a hose outside your camper, and it's leaking, and you're trying to stop the leak and fix it, and you're kind of sort of frantic. They'll come over and help you. Those are really good neighbors. Neighbors that pretty much from day one, they say they get to know you. You know what I mean? They get to know what you're about. Um, and there's people out there that have it like that. But then again, there's people out there that actually have shitheads for neighbors, assholes. All right, jerk offs. There, I said it. I said it. You're a jerk off if you have a neighbor next door to you and you don't even know their name. You don't get to know them or anything, and they've tried to be nice to you, and you want to be a shithead to them. You're an asshole. And there's a lot of those out there too. All right. So this woman is encountering neighbor from hell. All right, neighbor from hell. We're gonna listen to what she has to say, and I'll chime in every now and then.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Welcome back to my channel. I am doing this video, I was going to do one about campground etiquette, however, so in the process, this lovely thing happened. I received RV neighbors from hell. Ma'am. From hell.
Listen to her account.
I wasn't here when they pulled up. In fact, I think they pulled up a few days prior to them actually coming out and using their travel trailer. They arrived today. He's out there hooking up his stuff, drunk, really drunk. And of course, Maui sees him out her back window and she barks, as dogs do. Well, I, said, hey, Maui, don't, let's not bark at the guy. She stopped. Everything was cool. He, ma'am, Mr. Brother, sister, he started barking at my dog. He barked at my dog to get her going.
Well, that's kind of funny.
So I'm like, okay. I let her bark it out for a second, and then I'm like, I turn around and play my video game. My dog's quiet. Everything's.
I've done that. I've done that at the campground. If I'm walking by, because I do daily walks there, I go for 30 minutes around the park, and it's very hilly and some of it's challenging terrain, to be honest with you. And there's people walking their dogs all the time. And if I pass by a dog and it's on a porch of a camper and it's barking at me, sometimes I go, "Wow, woof, woof." Not a lot though. I don't keep doing it like this guy did, but he was drunk. I don't understand how he pulls up. He just got there to the campground. He's already drunk. Was he driving drunk? I don't know.
It's cool. He barks again. She barks back.
Well,
this
weird.
time.
That's weird.
And he's hooking up his water in the back while all this is taking place. This time, The jabron squirts water
Jabroni.
on my rig to purposely get my dog. I hear Maui squeal, and she comes running straight to me, and she's wet.
Well, that guy's a jerk. He's already drunk. He just got there. He's hooking up his water to his RV, and he squirts water at a dog. That guy's a jerk. All right. So she has the right to be annoyed at that. But but then you could actually have neighbors that where you are actually a good you're actually a good neighbor to those neighbors or by those neighbors. In other words, you could be a good neighbor yourself. You haven't sprayed their dog if they have one. You haven't barked back at their dog. You haven't sprayed their camper. You haven't done anything like that of the kind. You take care of your property. You mind your own business. Um, and you could have a neighbor that's right next door to you that doesn't want to say hi to you, doesn't want to get along with you, doesn't want to know you for no reason, or maybe there is a reason. Maybe they're jealous of you or stupid things like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, they don't. You just move into a camper, right? And obviously the walls aren't as thick as a house. They're really thin. You're in a tin can, but you don't know how far sound can carry outside of your camper if you're inside and you're talking, or sometimes getting a little louder than that, because that can happen because you live in your life. Not everybody walks around on eggshells in their own home. That's retarded. All right, nobody's a little quiet like a little library in their own home. Sometimes you have discussions or loud discussions, or you're playing music, or you're watching TV or something, and you don't know how far that sound, with all your windows closed, can carry 30 or 40 feet across your lawn to the next door neighbor's camper that also has thin walls because it's a tin can. Did that neighbor ever come over and say, "Hey, let me stand in here. We're going to turn on the music over there, or turn on something, and we're going to let you from inside your camper and see if we could hear it in here"? No, never did any of that. There's no training book or tutorial or orientation, campground orientation 101. When you're in your camper and you play at this decibel, if you're 30 feet from your other neighbor who's inside their camper, their tin can, they can hear this. No one tells, no, you don't know that. It's trial and error. Now, a good neighbor would say, hey man, I don't know, are you new to the campers? And you might say, yeah, I'm kind of new. Yeah, I am new. I'm new to it. He goes, well, it was 12 o'clock last night and we heard you and we were trying to sleep because we go to fecking sleep at 9 o'clock like old people. And you would say, oh, I didn't have it that loud in here. Sound travels through these walls that easily? I didn't know that. But thanks for the heads up. I'll walk on eggshells. I'll be real quiet in my own camper after 9 o'clock because you go night-night real early like an old... You know what I'm saying? There's no tutorial for this. There's no anything like that. And you have to have good neighbors to communicate with you, to be on a friendly basis, to say, hey, I know you stay up later than we do because we're old farts. And I know you live in your life and you're very energetic, and we're not. We're low energy. We're boring. We're prude, and we go to bed at 9 o'clock because we're old farts. We just get tired by that time, and we're very boring. And you're very energetic, and you're very outgoing in your camper and living your life after 9 o'clock. But we could hear. It's a little loud. It travels and and you go, really? The person that's lively in their camper, that he's talking to, the next door neighbor that's actually the lively person, living their life, being normal, not barking at dogs, not doing anything bad or anything like that, just living their lives. They just don't know that sound's traveling over here through the walls of all things. How retarded is that? I think it's BS personally. But that person will go, that's weird. You can hear that? It wasn't that loud. You can hear that? That's strange. Okay, well, we'll try to keep it down. I mean, you're way over there, 30, 40 feet away, 30 feet maybe. You're in your place and we're in ours. Mind our own business, is living our own life and mind our own business. But we'll try to keep it down. Something like that. You got to have communication. You have to have good neighbors around you and get to know them. But if you're in a place, even a neighborhood, like an actual neighborhood with homes, and your neighbors don't get to know you like they used to do, and you try to get to know them, but they give you the cold shoulder because they're jackasses, because there's a lot of that out there. And I'm not the only one that's saying this. I talk to people. And the subject comes up when I'm in grocery stores with people and all that, when we talk about survival and prepping, and well, it's a good idea to get to know your neighbors in your neighborhood. And people go, I don't know my neighbors. That's the trend. Hashtag I don't know my neighbors. Whereas years ago, you used to know your neighbor. It's one thing to not know your neighbor. It's one thing not to know your neighbor, but your neighbor doesn't act like a piece of crap because you might be a little loud or something and they might have heard some sounds from your abode. That's one thing with them not complaining. It's quite another to get a nasty phone call, nasty message from someone you don't even know that claims they're your next door neighbor, that you're being loud and saying and being very aggressive in that message. Very aggressive and hostile. Quite that you don't even know what neighbor it is because you got neighbors behind you, neighbors this way, neighbors this way. Who is it? Doesn't even say. That's what people out there deal with. They deal with people like that are very they don't get to know you, and they never communicate with you. They never check on you. They never say hello to you. They never wave to you. You could be side by side. They could be right there on their lawn mowing the grass. You could be right here. Not a wave. Nothing. Like you're not even there. That's a shitty neighbor. That's a horrible neighbor. It's not the obnoxious kind that she's getting, but I would venture to say probably that kind of neighbor that doesn't even act like you're there, never has anything good to say, not even a hello, but always looks for a problem and then wants to either go tattletale on you to the HOA or make up stories about you and lie about you, or actually call you and leave a nasty message. You don't want that kind of neighbor. That neighbor right there is not a neighbor. Or if it is a neighbor, it's not being neighborly. And that's the problem. All right? But I digress. This woman's having her own problems. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Drunk. He's got friends. Right here. Across over here.
Oh, yeah, I know that kind.
Across over there.
Yeah. It's called a click.
Stop it.
It's called a click.
He's got friends. They've been walking through my area all night.
Now that sucks.
Reviews from hell, y'all. From hell. Somebody opened the gates of hell.
Yeah, but see, this lady
took all the RV people and sent them.
If it's that bad, they should. Whoever's in charge of the campground, go and talk to them about it. Say, hey, look, this is what's happening. But even then, listen, campgrounds, especially if you're there for a period of time, or live there for a part of the year, clicks form. Let me tell you something, son, daughter. Clicks form, and these clicks, they ain't good because what they do is if you're a newbie, if you're a new person, they'll actually bully you in their own way. Grown ass adults, elderly adults with nothing better to do. Easy living elderly adults in the golf carts forming the cliques. They see a new person, they start in with them. Instead of helping them, instead of getting to know them. And they want to act like they advertise the place. These people act like, hey, come over here. It's a great campground. It's thumbs up. It's good times campground. Good times. But when the newbie gets there, they start in with the newbie. They find things to exaggerate. Oh, he's too loud, or that person's too loud, or else other nonsense. Make up stories, right? Like as if you live in as if this place is a library. Maybe it's an old folks home. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They'll form their cliques and they'll literally start in with the new person, right? Now, if you don't stand your ground, these people, and it's evil, to be honest with you. These people will basically is what they're doing is trying to get you to leave because they don't want new people into their environment, into the campground. Unless you pucker up and kiss their ass. I don't know. I'm not the type of person. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm a hi, how you doing person. If you act like if you're non-receptive, then I'm like, okay. I said hi once. You weren't receptive. You acted like you didn't want to receive my hello. So screw you. That's it. It's not hard. It's not hard. But they form cliques is what they do. And it's like you're like that Stain song. You're on the outside looking in. Yeah, sort of like that. Except you don't want to look in because you don't even give. You get to the point where you don't even want to be around these people. You just do your own thing, mind your own business. But when you mind your own business, and these people that never wanted to get to know you in the first place, every now and then start in with you, yeah, Houston, you got a problem. So she's got her own weird problem. She's got drunkards, but she got this drunk guy that's starting in with her in his drunken way, has also friends around. She's surrounded, like she just said. So that's a clique she's got right there. All right. So now it's not just one guy she has to deal with; it's the whole fucking clique. Right? One lies and the other one swears type of clique. But see, what she needs to do is film it. I would go. If you went to whoever's in charge of the campground and brought that grievance to them, and I'm not suggesting tattletaling, but if you're literally being surrounded, like this guy's starting in with you physically, he's barking at your dog, he's hosing down your dog, and he just got there, he's drunk. I would say, I would try to get him to stop, and if he can stop, then you have to take it to the next level. But I want you to understand that that's one way of doing it. You try to say diffuse the situation yourself, but if you can't, then take it next level. Go to whoever's in charge of the campground. But there are people out there literally don't talk to you and say, "Hey, bud, this was a little loud, or this was that. Can you work on that?" They don't do that. What they do, like little children, the grown ass adults will go to the HOA or whatever and spew a bunch of lies about it, and HOA just begins typing up a letter against the person that they lied about. That's bullshit. Number one, if you got a problem with someone, try to address it in a civil manner. Be neighborly about it. Be not lighthearted, but be casual about it. Don't be hostile. Don't be saying damn this and F that and all that. Don't be doing stuff like that. Just go up and say, hey, I know this is weird, but you live way over there and I'm in here, but I could hear you for some strange reason. I guess our walls are paper thin. Maybe you need just lower it a little bit or something like that. You know what I'm saying? There's a right way and a wrong way of addressing situations. And the wrong way is going and tattletaling. That's what little bitches do, little kids. The wrong way is also leaving a message and being hostile about it. There's a right and a wrong way of doing things. Now this woman, I don't know. She seems very casual, like lighthearted about her situation. I don't know. But my question to you out there is, do you live or live part of the year in an RV place? I'm not talking about you traveling to some campground and you just going to be there for a couple of days and next door there's kids running amok and loud early in the morning, but you want to sleep in. I'm not talking about that because that kind of thing is kind of unavoidable. It's that if it's that kind of campground, just don't go to that kind of campground. I'm talking to those that actually stay part of the year at campgrounds. You have your own, either you pull your camper up into your own spot that you own, piece of land, lot that you own there, or you have an actual camper there that actually has a deck and a screened-in porch, and it's stationary on a foundation, and you live there part of the year. How many of you out there have problems with your neighbors? And what are they? What are they? What are the problems with your neighbors? That's my question. You should try to get to know your neighbors. If you try to get to know your neighbors and they don't want to reciprocate, then you've done all you could do. That happens. But it's another thing for that neighbor that didn't want to reciprocate and receive your friendliness to act like a total asshole and make up stories about you or to start trouble with you. Totally different. All right? People on the street don't know each other where I'm at, where I live. I know my next door neighbor, but I don't always talk to them. We've had conversations in the past. And that's another thing. Every damn neighbor, every neighbor that you've ever lived, in other words, every place that you've ever lived, you should have had at least one conversation. No, I'll go beyond that. You should have at least had several conversations or multiple conversations over a period of time. If you have a neighbor and you only had one conversation, then after that conversation, you got, let's just say this. You should have multiple conversations at least over a span of time with your neighbor. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be every month. It doesn't even have to be every 6 months. But you should have enough conversations with them to know somewhat about what of who they are. If you only have one conversation and that's it, no bueno. If you have zero conversations with them and you tried to have a conversation with your neighbor, not good. You should be able to talk to your neighbor without them being rigid, prude, hostile, non-receiving. At the very least, they should be able to listen to you for a little bit and just act like a human being. And that's the problem. Not just in RV parks, but in general. People are not acting like human beings to each other. They're acting like friggin' jerk-offs. And that's got to stop. All this nonsense got to stop. It's not hard. It takes communication. And I'm not talking about telling on someone and writing a letter. We're talking about civil conversation. Not hostile, civil, I said. Polite. And you could add a touch of friendliness to it and neighborliness to it. Unbelievable.